Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope, and thank you for allowing us to come into your viewing environment. We are here with you every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, broadcasting live from the FijiWater.com sponsored studio to discuss whatever topics you might like to discuss, whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. You can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships. Whatever's in your heart and whatever's on your mind, God is concerned about that which concerns you. And so we are here with you and for you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, which is brought to you daily by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock, where the water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the blue cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery. And you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is not just ordinary water. This is Earth's finest water at FijiWater.com. And right now, if you order from FijiWater.com 2 cases or more, you will receive a 25% discount on your order. It's not a subscription. It is a one-time order of 2 cases or more, 25% off at FijiWater.com. Your code is SPRING because spring has sprung at FijiWater.com. And for those of you who continue giving on the Give segment of our app at New Life-Delaware, and those of you that have made a weekly or monthly commitment to support the broadcast by giving on the contribution pages of our websites at NewLifeMinistriesInternational.com and NewLifeInternationalCDC.com, we thank you for your support and for your commitment as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here for you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. So I'm going to begin by reminding all of our listeners and viewers, first of all, that my allergies are really acting up and have been really causing me some discomfort. So pardon me for all of the necessary activity, but I want to remind everyone that we are Facebook Live, we are YouTube Live, we are RadioFreeNetwork.com Live. Go to RadioFreeNetwork.com, click on radio, the drop box will appear, and click on New Life, and every video will be available to you. And you can also tune in on our 24-hour internet radio station, 24 hours, 7 days a week. We play music that will encourage you, empower you, and inspire you to become the best version of yourself that you can possibly become. It will keep you throughout the day. It will keep your mind stayed on Him, stayed on the Lord, and keep you inspired to be the best version of yourself that you can possibly become. So tune in on our 24-hour, 7-day-a-week internet radio station, WKAP Faith Empowerment Radio, go to rdo.to/WKAP, and you will be able to listen to music 24/7. You can also go to RadioFreeNetwork.com. Go to RadioFreeNetwork.com, click on radio. The drop box will appear. In addition to seeing the New Life link, you will see a link for WKAP, so you can access it that way. Depending on what's most convenient for you, whether it's the quick link or whether it's going on the website at RadioFreeNetwork.com, we are available to you now 24/7. We just want to make sure that everyone gets to be encouraged, empowered, and inspired 24/7. And so we're excited about our new radio station. We're going to continue to move forward with that, but we are thankful that you are tuning in from all over the U.S. and around the globe, and we are excited about what God is going to continue to do as we continue to move forward. So I'm going to address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you left a highly successful position to accept another position with another company and have not experienced the same success that you had previously. In fact, you said from your perspective, it has been a disaster. So, it's very interesting that you use that term, because on Sunday I talked about the perspective of our own resurrection. And so I'm going to walk you through this, because as I was prayerful about this, God allowed me to see in that secret place of your life exactly what's going on. So first of all, let's change your perspective. Let's really begin to look at this through another lens. It has not been a disaster because you're still at the company. You haven't been let go because you're not experiencing the same success. You left a highly successful position. You have been in that position for a period of time. It was extremely successful, and you were well respected at your previous company. You made a change because you thought you needed to change. You made a change because you thought that you were capable of going to another company and having the same success. That is a choice that you made because you wanted to explore something different. It happens to a lot of people. We think that we can have the same success one place that we at a new place that we had at a previous place. And so I'm going to use a sports analogy because it's real important that all of our listeners and viewers get this. Sometimes where you are, you're successful because of the environment, the culture, the environment, the people who surround you, and, for lack of a better term, the model. Sometimes the model makes us successful. So I'm going to use a sports analogy because in our area we have a local professional football team. And the Philadelphia Eagles, so I'm going to use this as an example. There have been players that have played for the Eagles in the past that left the Eagles and went to another team. They were up for free agency. They know that they're capable of playing in the NFL. They've had success playing in the NFL. They believed that they could leave the Eagles and have the same success playing for another team who would pay them more money. Now, I'm all about people getting paid their value, what they're worth. I don't condemn anyone. Who am I to judge? I don't condemn anyone for making a decision that they feel is best for themselves and their family. We've had players leave the team and go to play for another team because the team offered them more money. It was a new opportunity, and they felt that they would thrive in a new opportunity just the way they had playing for the Eagles. But the system they played in was conducive for their success. So let me give you an example of that. You have a player who is a north-south defender, for example. And he has success playing in that position because the people on the outside protect the outside well, which allows them to play north and south. They don't have to concern themselves with a lot of lateral movement, and they're able to be success in that type of system. But then they go to another team, And that team asked them to not only go north and south, but to also go east and west, or lateral movement. They're not as good in that system as they are in the system they were playing in, because of the culture, the environment, the supporting cast, the system around them. Let me give you another example. You have a receiver who can take the top off, meaning he can run long distances, he's faster than everyone else. The quarterback can get the ball downfield, and he's gonna score a touchdown in most cases if the ball is catchable and he catches the ball. That receiver, and this just isn't our team, this happens all over the league, but our receiver then is up for free agency, decides he'll take more money and go someplace else. But now they want him to run slant routes. They want him to run across the middle. They want him to run, down and out. He's not as effective as he would be taking the top off and going downfield. And the reason I'm using those analogies is because you were in a culture, environment, and system that allowed you to be successful. Free agency came up. I'm using that as a term, as an analogy. You're working in a corporate environment. You get your raise, your bonus. You see it, it's good. You work another year, you have big success. Another year comes up, you get a raise, you get your bonus, you have another successful year, and then you see this opportunity out here. Different environment, different culture, different environment, different system, and you go to work in that environment and you don't have the same success. And because you don't have the same success, you then think your perspective becomes, it was a disaster. Well, it's not a disaster because you're still there. The company is fine with you performing at the level you're performing right now, but you're accustomed to having success. And the problem is, you're not having the same success that you had previously. And what you have to ask yourself is, when you decided to pursue the new opportunity, before you consulted a headhunter or before you consulted anyone else, did you consult God? Did you sit down and pray and ask God for guidance? And the answer to that is, you did not. You saw an opportunity. It had a higher salary than you were already making, which was already a great salary. And, I'll keep it real. You were making over 6 figures a year. 90% of the population never sees that. So you were making over 6 figures a year. But then this new opportunity that you saw out there was going to pay you 50%, even more than that. So you decided to seek that out. But you didn't decide to seek God before you made the decision. Because, truth be told, over time, you would have gotten to that level of increase, but you wanted it now. And you wanted to change. You wanted to try something different. So you can't look at it as a disaster. You have to look at it as an experience. And then you have to look at it as a learning experience that's not just as an experience of your decision-making process, but you have to look at it as a learning experience to say, before I make any more moves, I'm going to seek God first. And what I'm going to say is, God, lead me and guide me in the path you would have me to go. And open doors that you know that no man can shut, and close the doors you do not want me to enter. See, that's something that, and I'm going to walk through that again, that's something that most people don't do. So one of the things I've told my congregation, for example, and I've told my children and I've told those closest to me, that part of our daily prayer has to be, first of all, to praise God for the abundant blessings and glorify him for the extraordinary favor that he pours out upon our lives daily. That has to be the start of all of that. Because you've got to be grateful for what God's already done and what he continues to do. Because he doesn't stop. But then you have to pray this prayer. God has to be part of your prayer. God, open doors that no man can shut. Because we want doors of opportunity to open. So open doors no man can shut, and close the doors that you do not want me to enter. In other words, when you sent your resume for that new position and that company saw the success you had at your previous company, they wanted to hire you. But the question is, was it the right place for you? So moving forward, you have to pray that God will close the doors that no man, that God will close the doors he doesn't want you to enter. That he'll open the doors no man can shut, but he'll close the doors that he does not want you to enter. In other words, when you sent your resume, it's not rejection if they don't hire you. See, this is the problem that, and I'm using this as an analogy because people don't really think about praying those prayers, or making that part of their daily prayers. But I'll use the analogy and say the reason people don't want to pray those prayers is because they don't want the rejection of someone saying, "Thank you for your interest, but we decided to go a different direction." Most people don't want to hear that because most people don't want rejection in any form. Well, I'll go a little further and say, it's not our nature to want to be rejected. Some people just handle it better than others. But however, I want God to close doors that he doesn't want us to enter. Now, sometimes God will open a door that he wants us to enter. We'll enter the door and still feel like we don't belong in the room. And we try to talk ourselves out of moving things forward because we don't feel the level of competency that we need to be successful. But that'll process itself out if we just enter into the room. But if he just closes the door, we won't even go in, we won't be able to go in the room. We won't even find ourselves in a place that we're not able to be successful. So we always got to check with God first. We've got to make sure that we are doing everything his way, his will, and according to what he has spoken, his word. Because what God has spoken shall come to pass. So if he wanted you to have that position, you would have that position. And if he wanted you to be successful in that position, you'd be successful in that position. What you're doing now is experiencing the process of making a decision without God. Because that's how it works. You have to go through the experience of processing what wasn't God's will for your life, but was your own will for your life. We all go through these experiences, and this is for all of our listeners and viewers. We've all made decisions along the way that were not God's way. We've all done it. We've all chosen different paths. We've all done different things that were not God's way, and they were not according to God's will. We did it because we were on our own agenda. We had our own decisions that we wanted to make. And, some previous behaviors may have crept in. But whatever the reason, we didn't do it God's way and according to God's will. And then we find ourselves in a place where it's not conducive for us to maximize our success. So what I'm going to do is pray for you that you'll find peace in this and know that it's not a disaster. because you're still at the company and they're satisfied with you just doing what you're doing right now. Learn whatever you can learn from this experience, including other skill sets. And then pray that God will open a door that no man can shut. A door of opportunity where you can eventually, in the next few years, transition into another position that will allow you to flourish and return to the level of success that you're accustomed to. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you're not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will move you into our queue so that you may become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. And if you attach a credit card to your account and auto pay, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill at T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that your father does not like any of the men you date. However, you do not feel he is being fair to them and will not give them a chance. Are you asking your father to give them a chance to disrupt the quality of your life? Because, there's an old adage that says father knows best. If you've got a father who's actively engaged, actively involved in your life, you have a father who is covering you. There's a reason he doesn't like the men that you're dating. And the reason is because they're the wrong men. And the reason that they're the wrong men is because your father can see that they're going to disrupt the quality of your life. You're not being fair to your father, believing that, let me rephrase that, feeling, because it's not that you believe that your father's trying to sabotage your relationships. You feel, there's that word, the emotion, you feel that he's not being fair because you chose to date these men and your father says they're not the men who have been chosen for your life. And what he's really saying is they're not the men that have been chosen by God. Now, I know you don't see your father going to church regularly. You don't see your father with a relationship with the Lord. He's still a good man. And one thing your father wants is to ensure that you have a great quality of life. So why would he give someone a chance if they're not going to enhance the quality of your life? And your father's been around long enough that he knows what game looks like. He knows what, first of all, let me give you what God showed me in that secret place of your life. So you would bring men around your parents. Your mother never says anything about who you date. But your father looks at them, he talks to them, and he makes a decision not based on the cover. You can't judge a book by its cover, but by the content of their character. So he's talking to them about things like their career. If a guy's all over the place, your father's saying to himself, and then translating it to you, they have no stability to offer you. But you say, well, but we have a good time. A good time is not what your father's looking for you. Your father is expecting someone to marry his daughter that's going to build a great quality of life. His expectations are higher than, I'm taking your daughter out. We're going, we're going to take some trips together. None of that means anything to your father. And the reason is because your father's not interested in them wanting to have a good time. Your father's been out in the world. He knows what the perception of a good time is. He's not interested in that because he knows that's not going to last. He doesn't want to develop a relationship with someone who is not going to last. They've got no staying power. Your father knows that. You know, if your father's talking to a guy who's had, 10 different jobs, and he's only been out of school for 10 years, that's no stability. That's an average a job a year. If your father talks to a guy who has no real plan for his life that goes past, let's see, we're in April, the plan doesn't go past August, he knows that that's not going to lead to a great quality of life for you. But you tell your father you're just trying to have fun, you just want him to meet this person. The reason you want your father to meet the person that you're dating is because deep down inside, you know that watch this, not that you can't trust yourself, but you know you shouldn't trust yourself when it comes to men. Because you've never had a real relationship. You've just dated. Now, you're not the only one, because in the culture we're living in, that's a popular thing. We're just hanging out. Let me rephrase that. Many people are not having relationships. They're just hanging out. And if all you're doing is hanging out, you're not establishing a future. You're not establishing a future with anyone. And if you're not establishing a future, you cannot be building a great quality of life. You're not developing that. You're just developing a good time. Your father's not going to take an interest in anyone who is not going to be responsible enough to develop and build a great quality of life with you. He's not going to do it. No father in his, I was going to say right mind, I'll say in his eminent wisdom, wants that for his daughter or his son, but particularly not for his daughter. Men and women are different. It doesn't matter to me what society has to say. But the Bible made it very clear there's a difference between men and women. So the reality is that your father it's not that he's not giving them a chance. The fact that he sits down and talks with them, that is their opportunity. That is their chance to convince your father that they have your best interest at heart and that they're trying to build something with you that is going to lead to a long-term sustainable relationship. A relationship that's going to be healthy, a relationship that's going to lead to a better quality of life. That's what your father wants for his daughter. And that's what all of us want for our daughters. Anything else is not acceptable. This segment of the broadcast has been brought to you by Charles Tyrwhitt, located in London, the UK. They also have stores in New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and at the King of Prussia Mall in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. So if you're in any of those areas, stop in at their retail stores. They have everything a man could possibly need: shirts for men, ties for men, suits for men, and accessories. If you're not in any of those areas, you can order from Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com. They will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. And right now you can purchase 4 high-quality cotton shirts from Charles Tyrwhitt for $199. Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com. And The White Company, located in London, the UK. They also have a store on Fifth Avenue in New York. If you're in New York, stop in. They have everything you could possibly need: home goods, clothing for men, women, and children. And if you're not in New York, you can order from The White Company at thewhitecompany.com. They too will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. And today's Daily Divine Direction broadcast, 3D, has been brought to you by Fiji Water. The taste of paradise will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery. And you'll save money at FijiWater.com. May God bless you today.